Uh, we know this is a super, super important topic. And so we're glad to have you all join us today. We're thrilled to have Justin Fitzpatrick, who is our membership and communications manager, presenting today. And for those of you that have worked with Justin, he is amazing at communications and very passionate about marketing and the messaging we put out there, especially as human service nonprofit agencies. Super, super important. So, he has a robust presentation plan today. If you have any questions, feel free to put it in the chat. Both Amber and I'll be monitoring the chat. Amber Tynan is also with us, who's our executive director. And we will go ahead and get started. Justin, take it away.
Well, thank you, LaShawn, and thank you again to both LaShawn and Amber here at UPHS for giving me this opportunity to present for you all on developing digital strategies for or in 2025. As we all know, as we're approaching a new year, we need to start getting ready for what is it that we want to share with our not only our audiences throughout our space, but our donors, our supporters of our organizations, and the incredible work that we're doing. One of the things that I run into a lot of times when I meet with organizations through the UPHS network, from our day-to-day perspective, is a lot of the campaigns and a lot of the messaging that you all share is sporadic. It's kind of in the moment, instant gratification, trying to get something drummed up quickly towards the event that may be happening in a pressing amount of time, whether it be a week, a couple of weeks, or a month or so. And one of the things I want us as organizations to do better is planning, right? Planning around what we want to share, what's the messaging we want to share, how do we want to advertise not only our organization and what we do day to day, but some of these campaigns that we typically run annually, right? We know we're always going to do a Christmas toy drive. We always know that we're going to do a Thanksgiving drive. But sometimes it seems as though we wait until October or November to start putting that information out there. And if you already know that you're planning for these events or going to scope these events for your organizations, why not go ahead and start creating planning or strategies around planning for these things within a calendar year? So as you know, with me, a lot of my presentations are interactive. So you're going to have to talk. You're going to have to come off mute. You're going to have to put messages in the chat throughout it. And I always like to start with an icebreaker. So the first icebreaker question that we have you started planning for your digital marketing campaigns for the new year? And what are some of the ideas that you have come up with so far? And feel free, again, you can raise your hand, come off of mute, or feel free to share in the chat if you're not in a position where you can, and you're just kind of listening in to today's conversation, today's workshop.
I'll go first. No, I haven't started any planning.
And that's
And I'm
okay.
not afraid to say it.
That's right. That's okay. I appreciate your honesty. That's one thing we're huge on here is radical honesty. So that's okay. All right. I know we've pushed through a year, right? A long year. In 2024, we're ready for the holidays. We're ready for a chance to kick back. As Amber stated earlier, what are your plans? What are you all doing to kind of relax and take some time and some inventory of what you want to do? But I do say, as always, the earlier the better. So we do want to start that conversation today, and that's why we're having that conversation today. So Debbie, I'm excited for you to be here because I think you'll learn some things and get some tips and tools of the trade that will help you within that process of getting started. Desiree says in the process. Michelle says number one for me coming to this workshop and training, and that's huge. And Gabrielle says, yes, I don't have a voice right now, so I can't talk, which is all good. And I double down on Amber's statement of sending you love and healing vibes. Well, that's all right, right? We have a lot of organizations kind of across the spectrum today, which is really, really exciting. I'm really, really happy to be able to share a lot of this information with you all today because I think it's going to help in all areas, right? If you're just starting out or if you're just looking to sit down and really start sketching some things out, or if you're already in the process and want to add or throw some new wrinkles into some things going into 2025, I think we have some wonderful ideas here for you today that will help you throughout that process. So, why does digital marketing matter? So, first off, over 60% of donors prefer to give online. As we know within our generation and within today's technological age, we're instant, right? We're instant in transactions, we're instant in communication, we're instant in so many different areas that giving and donor cultivation has become almost an instantaneous cycle as well too, where they're looking for more opportunities to not have to write a check, to not have to fill out a donor card. They're looking for ways to do this online and just type in their credit card information or link their bank accounts to it so it can give annually or give monthly or give bi-weekly, however they their consistencies in giving are going to be towards your organizations. Digital marketing is going to play a huge part in that, and that's both social media and your websites. You want to create ways and methods for organizations to be able to accept donations from a online space, which I know a lot of your organizations probably already have within the apparatus of your digital marketing. But for organizations that do not, this is a statistic that you want to lean on, and realize that most of today's world is moving towards that aspect of giving online, primarily through all of their donations. They don't want to go back to the days of, again, filling out a card or having to write a check and mail it to the organization, as previously done. And then digital campaigns increase reach and donor engagement by up to 200%. A lot of you may not have recognized this year, but Giving Tuesday actually increased its giving from this year between last year and this year. Last year was more than $3.1 billion given to organizations across Giving Tuesday. This year was 3.6. So again, as we're seeing, the statistics show, a lot of digital campaigns are the way that you are cultivating and creating reach to audiences that you're not hitting, or to the current audience that you already have, as well as turning some of those leads or some of those contacts into now financial supporters of your organization. And digital campaigning and digital marketing is a huge piece of that. And that's why I left this quote here of digital marketing is more than a tool, it's a bridge to your community. Nowadays, a lot of our communities are finding out about the aspects of our organizations solely from the online perspective. We can't tell you how many times at UPHS, a lot of organizations that come and join us, we don't have a touch point with. A lot of times it's because they go to our website or they go to our social media pages, or you all as members of the organization share about what we do and provide that resource to all of these organizations. So being able to really focus in and hone in the digital aspect of the organization and making sure that you're not only utilizing a lot of the social media and digital marketing resources, tools, and platforms that are out there, but you're also making sure that you're planning and logistically providing the opportunities to your organizations to create more opportunities of growth and development for your organizations. So the first thing that we're going to have to do in planning for our digital marketing space and creating our digital marketing campaigns is to understand what our digital audience is. And then with knowing that, there's three main questions that we want to answer within this, and why, and this will help us state why knowing your audience matters. The first one is, who are your supporters? A lot of you have a lot of current supporters, current financial donors, and a lot of people who support what you do and the work you do. Some of this is through personal brand, right? And the work that you do personally as an individual throughout our community. Some of this is from your professional brand, even as well too, from the title and position you hold within organizations, or the title and position you hold within different organizations throughout a lot of our entities. Some of you are executive directors, CEOs, COOs of organizations, but you're also board members for other nonprofit organizations where you're playing a huge role in sharing the messaging, the mission, and the vision of those organizations as well. So you have to understand, who are those supporters? What do they look like? How are they ingesting the information that we send them? What do they care about, right? What are the mission? What are the passions of the audience that we're looking to share these messages with? Are we sharing things that really benefit, or really they are able to ingest and enjoy ingesting? Or are we sharing irrelevant information that doesn't bode well and may turn folks away from the organization? And where do they spend their time online? Now, nowadays, we have so many different social media platforms. We have so many different digital marketing platforms that we need to find out what age and demographics within our audiences are spending their time in the most certain aspects of the social media platforms that we convene or we use. We as individuals use social media platforms, but our organizations may not be utilizing those, or might not think to utilize those in their day-to-day operations as an organization. So understanding these three key questions will help us get a fine understanding of what are we trying to do with the digital marketing platforms and the digital marketing aspects that we have within our organizations, and who are we tailoring these messages to. So as always, I like to create some level or some form of interaction with a lot of these presentations. And the first thing that we're going to do here today is a persona example. So the first question I want to ask you all is, when's the last time that you've analyzed the demographics of your supporters and donors? So a lot of you may have donor lists within your organizations. A lot of you may have supporter lists within your organizations. When's the last time you actually looked at the demographics of your supporters and of your donors within the organization? And again, feel free to come off mute or to utilize the chat as an option to share those answers.
Well, as far as we're concerned, I don't think we have really done that. Now, as far as for as long as I've been here, we haven't really done that. We just send a letter to them, but we haven't really sat down and analyzed who our supporters and donors are.
That's a good point. And I'm happy you said that, because we have that, right? We have organizations that may have never taken a look at that list. They just, again, use the list to send letters out, send emails out to organizations or to individuals to ensure that the support stays continuous. But how do we change? How do we improve? How do we make more efficient? How do we evolve if we never really take the time to sit down and say, is this the best method? Are they getting our information in the best form and fashion? Is it equitable to everyone within our demographics and everyone that is sharing that information?
Well, I'm sorry.
Yes, sir, Marcellus.
Yeah, I agree with Desiree. I think with our transitional ceremonies that we have, we do reach out to our commissioners and our government officials, but we have really not sat down and talked about what we do in our graduation thing. So yeah, I think it is very important that we build a relationship with our donors so they can have an understanding of where they're spending their money.
Absolutely. I agree wholeheartedly with that statement. You have to create that. You have to create those lanes to be able to share relevant information to each of those organizations, or on each of those organizations, excuse me, in the sense of some content that you may share may not reach all the masses in the same way as you may believe it to, if you don't do that market analysis and that market research to understand who it is that is supporting our organization and what speaks to them and what speaks to their core values in terms of why they support the organization. Yes, ma'am, Miss Angela.
Yes, I wanted to say that we do it, but we only started doing it because we were trying to find out demographics in the area and what companies were supporting what in the area, so that we could find out if they were willing to support. So that's why we started doing it, to see who they were supporting, and then we started looking at who was supporting us, and then we started looking at who they're connected to see if we could gain support through their connections as well. To be able to pull those resources in so that we would have those finances to be able to fund what we need to fund. And then what we started doing was in certain areas, we started targeting those particular areas as well, for those individuals in that age group to be able to gain more funding. So but that was the only reason we did it, because we were just trying to figure out what was in the area and who was supporting, because we weren't sure where we would get support from. So we started looking at the demographics in the area, and then we started looking to see, who was supporting those particular different demographics and those particular companies, to see where we would be able to get like the biggest bang for our buck, as we would say.
I like what Angela said too, Justin, because of the fact that they're bridging their social capital. When you're talking about social capital and bridging social capital, that's what Angela's talking about. Knowing who to talk to go ahead and go to somewhere else that can help with us in our building. And I just like what she just said. So
Absolutely. And just leveraging that social capital and utilizing digital marketing platforms to do just that, right? A lot of the initiatives and a lot of things that we used to see being done was word of mouth, right? And a lot of creating like fireside chats and different convening methods to put a lot of the same minded or like-minded people in the room to create that greater impact or to move that effort forward. Nowadays, because of the technological advancements that we've seen, we've become more separated because now our information comes from a cellular device or a laptop computer or a desktop nowadays, where we don't have to do much of that anymore, but we have platforms like Zoom or Skype or Microsoft Teams to create that now. But how are we leveraging that in today's generation and in today's platforms that we have available to ourselves to ensure that we're still creating that still unique level of connection to be able to continue and bold not only the group of supporters that we have with us right now and to keep them there, but how do we continue to cultivate new supporters and new folks to understanding the messaging and what we're sharing and what we do as our organizations individually to support our communities collectively. So I see Debbie here said she honestly has no idea, but we'll be asking for sure. And that's good. We want you to start to look at that demographically, because now you can look at, as Angela said, the areas that they stay in and understanding, is there a common theme there within what they support? Is it they're more focused on youth and children focused activities? Are they supporting more homeless activities? Are they supporting more community based services? So again, being able to kind of nitpick and fine tune a lot of these personas of who's giving to you, if you don't understand or don't have that unique relationship where you know them one-to-one, it will help you start to cultivate ideas of how to engage different communities and different types of people to overall share your message and then become supporters not only of mission and vision or mission and values, but financially as well. So in our exercise here, we're going to meet Emma. So Emma is a 35-year-old woman that's environmentally conscious. Her social media platforms that she is active on are LinkedIn and Instagram. And her content preferences are visual storytelling and impact reports. So that's what really leaves a huge impact within her, is seeing the visual storytelling of an organization and the impact that organization is creating. So what strategies would you create to turn her from a potential donor to a financial supporter, or from someone that may be intrigued about what you do to now embodying and being a part of the organization?
Well,
We have the Breon House. I was just going to say I'd reach out maybe through LinkedIn and invite her for a tour.
That's a great point. Brittany, go ahead.
I would say maybe just like a success story, so that she's able to, see the impacts and what's actually happened and what's actually occurred. So something along those lines. And if she, of course, is on Instagram, of course, maybe make it a short reel. So that's what she's looking at, but definitely seeing the result in the success story, I think may be helpful.
That's huge, Brittany. I feel like you see my presentation before I even got to present it today. So that's huge. But great points, Michelle and Brittany. Being able to reach out and create that touch point, right? Getting her into the space, understanding how the work is being done, how you all are creating the change within the communities and the people that do the work, that support the organization via staff from that perspective. And then Brittany, the same aspect, creating content that's specific to her, right? Where you can start to target some things of visual storytelling, whether it be testimonials, whether it be sharing data and content around the impact that you're making within the community, which is those success stories of 35% of individuals who came in are first-time individuals were able to change X, Y, and Z within a year, or receive resources to change their life within a year. Those are the types of things that really stick out to Emma. And Emma would then see that content on her social media pages as it comes up more and more and go, hey, this is an organization I should be a part of. This is something I need to get into and really support. Amanda states infographics based on impact reports on LI. I'm not certain what LI is. I feel like I saw LI and thought BI, like Power BI. I work huge in that LI. Oh, LinkedIn. All good, Amanda. My apologies. But yes, sharing those infographics. As you've noticed, and LinkedIn has changed over the last, I would say, about 5 years in terms of the content that is being shared there now. And I think people are utilizing it so much more to share impact about what they do day to day and how they're affecting that change. But they're also sharing about their personal lives on LinkedIn nowadays. And which is really, really cool, because now it shows I'm connecting with the person and the values that they're sharing professionally and the work that they do. But now I see the person. Now I see that side of it, where you had to go to Facebook or Instagram to really see the personal aspect of folks. I think LinkedIn is starting to actually change into that scope as well. One of the things that I would add here in terms of reaching out to Emma is, from that visual storytelling perspective, is creating content that shows the need, right? Why we need you to be a part of this mission. So if it's sharing within the visual storytelling a story of a client, again, you can leave that client anonymous. You don't have to share like names, but a 35-year-old woman came to our offices today looking for resources because they were on the brink of homelessness. And through our resources today, ex-staff member, which you could share that staff member and what they do in their day-to-day, was able to not only connect Emma to several resources within our community, but we were able to get her to apply to 6 jobs today. And that is the work that we do here at Breon Family Services, or at the Salvation Army of Tallahassee, or at a lot of the organizations that you all work within our community and within your specific silos that creates that greater impact, again, within our organization. So again, a lot of great examples, a lot of great information shared by you all. So kudos to you all for being a part of that within this presentation. But we're going to talk about this a lot more, and how do we create those strategies to create change and create not only supporters and financial supporters of our organization, but people who believe in the mission and where we're driving to go with our organizations. So the first thing we have to do is we have to craft the strategy, right? And crafting that strategy, we have to understand, what is it we're going after? How are we going to go after it? What platforms do we want to utilize to go after these goals? So the first thing I always like to start with is setting SMART goals. And I know a lot of you have heard the term SMART: specific, measurable, attainable, or achievable, whichever A you like to use; realistic, relevant, whichever R you like to use; or timely, time managed, or being able to get the goal done in the right amount of time in that state. We want to set those SMART goals around your objectives. So a short example of that, from the social media aspect, will be growing your followers on Instagram by 10% in 3 months, right? That right there specifies, it's specific to the platform and what you're trying to do on that platform. It's specific in its time. It's achievable. We all can make that happen, because let's say you have 100 followers on your Instagram account right now. If you want to grow it by 10%, which is just 10 people, I think 3 months is enough time to be able to do it. You might be able to do it in 3 weeks even. But being able to set those SMART goals around the objectives that you're looking to target within your digital marketing plans will really, really help guide you on creating an end goal. I think a lot of times we create goals within our organizations, or we create what we want to do with the campaign or with the organization in terms of how many lives we want to touch or how many people we want to impact. But what are we doing, or what are we finely tuning within the strategies to make that happen, to ensure that we execute the goal, the end goal at the end of the day? And that plays a huge part in it. And again, a lot of this information is going to be transferable. Coming from Florida A&M University, the first thing I always heard was transfer of learning. So a lot of the concepts that you hear today, you can utilize across your organizations in all ways. It's not just from the social media space. It's not just from the digital marketing space. You can take a lot of these concepts and tools and apply it to programming, apply it to a lot of things that your organizations deal with on a day-to-day basis as well. The second thing is making wise decisions on platform choices and content drivers. I like to call them content drivers for each of them. So before I get into the example here, please feel free to utilize the chat or come off mute. Tell me some of the social media platforms that you all are using currently within your organization, whether it be Facebook, whether it be LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, any of the platforms that you all are using from this perspective. Please share.
Yeah, Facebook for sure.
Facebook for sure. I'm a huge Facebook person too, so I agree.
We use Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn, and there's another one. I'm not really all that versed with it, but it's called Alignable or Align.
Yeah. So Alignable, I have seen it grow in terms of the community here, probably over the last 2 years or so. I get a lot of invitations from organizations say, hey, I just joined Alignable. We would love to have you join our circle and things like that. So that's a huge one as well, too. In our comments, I'm seeing Facebook, Instagram, X, I know Twitter, X, all interchangeable, LinkedIn, and looking at potentially making a TikTok. So I have a little secret to share with you all, if you'll indulge me for a little bit. Did you know you can't use the same content for all of those platforms? Well, let me not say can't, but you shouldn't. And we're going to talk about that here. So the reason why I talked about making wise decisions on platform choices and the content drivers for each of them is based in this example here. So Instagram and TikTok are more visual facing platforms. People scroll, right? It's very short form content. So they're not going to read a long caption. They're not going to read a lot of words or a lot of sentences on graphics. It's something that they're scrolling through, which takes quick time, quick things. So within those visual facing platforms, you want to create more short form content options or content drivers for those. Examples, you can create reels or TikTok length shortened or length and time platform videos. And the funny thing about it is, I know a lot of us have been seeing the news lately in terms of our federal government and what they're trying to do with TikTok. And in terms of shutting it down, its access down here in the United States. But the great part about if we lose TikTok is every platform has taken on some form of what TikTok has evolved into. So Instagram has Instagram and Facebook being under the Meta platform have the Reels aspect. YouTube has YouTube Shorts. So everything that you utilize or try and create for, let's say, a platform like TikTok is transferable in the sense of utilizing it on those platforms. But how you utilize it is the difference in all of these platforms. So again, for LinkedIn and Facebook, we talked about that professional aspect and how LinkedIn, you have more longer content in terms of the caption, right? They're sharing a lot more words of the journey, of the story, and they're telling you a story or sculpting a story to you of what they're doing or what has happened in the situation they're sharing with you. So the picture isn't the visual focus. It's the content on those platforms. So now we have to utilize LinkedIn and Facebook to use the caption to share more about what it is you're doing within the picture or what it is you're doing within the video, because that's where people sit down and actually look at the space. Because what are they going to do there? They're going to quick comment or share their perspective on the comment or share their comments on the perspectives they have towards what you're sharing there. So that's why I say you have to make wise decisions on what platform choices, not only what platforms you want to utilize within your organizations, but what is the content that drives success for us on these platforms. And that's why I wanted to use that example here of Instagram and TikTok, or Instagram Reels, Facebook Reels, YouTube Shorts. Those are more visual facing. So their videos, they're going to sit there and watch them. They're going to look at them. They're going to chime into it based on what is shared in the picture or the video that you share, that short form content. Whereas LinkedIn and Facebook, it's more so of you telling a story. It's more so of you sharing a lot more content or a lot more in the caption aspect space of it, where they can share their feedback or share their perspective on it. And that is how you drive success or drive content on those platforms. Just for example, raise a hand just really quickly. Have any of you heard of a platform by the name of Bluesky? Anybody?
I have.
Hey, we got one. So I'm excited. I'm happy to hear that. So Bluesky is the alternative to X. As we know, X, since it has been taken over by Elon Musk, a lot of people have complained about the misinformation that has been driven on that platform a lot, which a lot of nonprofit partners and a lot of people that work in the social media or digital marketing space, when it comes to nonprofits, have actually drove organizations to stay away from Twitter because it's inundated with so much right now. Funny enough, the team that created Bluesky, which is based in Seattle, actually all internally worked at Twitter. And it was actually going to be an add-on to Twitter in 2019. But after everything happened and Elon Musk took over, he actually laid off a ton of staff there. And the team that created Bluesky was laid off. And they actually created an independent company on their own to now drive Bluesky to the top of things. what we've noticed a lot on LinkedIn, in a group that I'm in, and I'm gonna share a link to that group, so you all should be able to join it via LinkedIn if you have LinkedIn accounts, is that a lot of journalists are actually taking a lot of content that they see and utilizing it or repurposing it for articles that they write directly from LinkedIn and actually Blue Sky. Blue Sky isn't really primarily known, and they're actually trying to push a lot of nonprofits to utilize it more so that they actually have a bigger set of eyes or a bigger amount of eyes on the content that is being shared there, because a lot of people are starting to drive away from X because there's so much misinformation that is being shared out there because there's no level of accountability in terms of what's being shared out there. They do have the community notes platform, which I think is huge, and allows people to share their feedback in that sense. But Blue Sky is something I want to recommend to you all to at least look at and check out for your organizations as you all are growing your digital marketing frameworks and plans for this year. The last part of it is creating a content plan. So the example I have here is a weekly plan. And I will give a shout out to a cohort partner of ours, Any, because every Monday, doesn't matter the time of the day on Monday, I will say I see a Member Monday post from them. And that is something that I noticed that they do every Monday to share not only what members they have within their organization, but what each of these membership organizations are doing within the grand scope of the work that they're providing within not only Tallahassee, but maybe the Big Bend or the region within our area. And they have a really, really zeroed in approach when it comes to their weekly content. And sharing the same information on every Monday or every Wednesday or every Friday, Tuesday, Thursday, whichever day they deem necessary to do those things. It's the easiest way to be able to not only scope what you're doing in terms of your organization and how to share it, but it at least gives you now the driving mechanisms of what kind of content do you want to create for the platforms that you're currently on. So within this weekly example here, on Mondays, you can share a success story or relevant partnership that you have. So whether it's recognizing a client success story, and again, that can be done anonymously, or if you want to actually feature them and have their permission to, you can share what they've been able to do within the organization and how they've gotten from point A to point B. Or you can share a relevant partnership, which is, let's say that you're working in tandem with an organization on a project or an initiative right now. It will be great to actually highlight that and share more about how that organization has brought their arm or their piece of the puzzle to yours to create greater impact. The two of you could have been working in silos, and now because of a meeting or because of a coffee meeting that you may have had in the community or some networking event that you went to, you were connected. And now that connection is yielding greater results for our community, which not only helps your organization in terms of content, but it helps theirs as well too, because they can share that post as well and say, oh, thanks for recognizing us. We're excited about the partnership. We're happy. We're grateful, et cetera, et cetera. On Wednesday is a donor appreciation post. And I put to those that deem it so. And the reason why I say that is because all donors don't want to be recognized, as we know. All donors don't want their face publicly known or plastered on websites and social media posts saying, oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. Some folks like to give in silence. And that's a huge piece of today's donor standpoint. But the reason why I put donor appreciation post here is one thing that I've noticed, a trend that I've noticed here locally. And again, this is my opinion. So I'm not saying this is fact. I'm not saying this is what has been trending in terms of what's going on here. But a lot of our organizations ask and ask and ask and ask and ask, but we don't do anything to show that we're thankful, or we're not doing anything to recognize the people that always show up in terms of those asks. So I think we can do a better job across all of our platforms of just recognizing, if it's not even recognizing individuals, just recognizing everyone that gives and saying thank you to our donors. We want to make this as a special post to anyone that has donated anything from $1 to a canned good to whatever it may be. Obviously, for big time donors, you'll give them the huge recognitions, whether it be big time events like galas or support events or support asks that you all do. But we also want to recognize the person that gave $10 because it was $10 that they decided to give to that organization and share to ensure that your organization's doors stay open to supporting our community for. And then Friday is a call to action. So a call to action for a campaign is if you're wanting to do a recognition of something. I'll highlight the Oasis Center, since we have them on the call, I know they had a huge drive towards period poverty in our community in terms of making sure resources were available to a lot of entities in a lot of different places to ensure that young women and young girls and women in general had those resources. And they put a call to action out there of what they needed or how we could support it or understanding the scope of why this drive needs to happen. So if it's a call to action of why you're doing the drive that's needed, if it's recognizing food insecurity or recognizing the lack of affordable housing or recognizing any of the barriers that fight against what you're doing and the mission of your organization to providing those resources to the communities that need them best, create a day of sharing statistics or sharing some relevant data point that shows this is growing and we need your support to be able to fight against this or to curb this effect happening in our community. Or did you know that this percent of this amount of people are dealing with food insecurity or lack of affordable housing and homelessness? Because then what it does is it allows your audience to not only learn an interesting factoid about what you do, but maybe a factoid about the community that they live in. A lot of people don't know, and we have to understand their ignorance in a sense. There's a lot of people don't know what they don't know. And we have to be able to give that opportunity or that chance to share why it is we do what we do. And then this is the reason why we're introducing or teaching you about this moment. So you can now become a champion or a supporter of the efforts that we're moving forward. So tools and trends for 2025. As always, I want to always leave presentations with the ability to give you some platforms that you may have heard of or may have utilized, and platforms that you haven't. And then within the platforms that you're using, are you utilizing it to its full capability or not? So some emerging trends within the digital marketing space is artificial intelligence. I know we've talked about it a lot. We've had a few presentations done within UPHS over the last couple of months, really, around artificial intelligence and how you can integrate it for business optimization, right? Well, there's a lot of artificial intelligence tools being created for content creation and for social media and digital marketing. ChatGPT, I know everybody kind of knows about this one, so I'm not going to spend a lot of my wheels around it, but it's a huge platform that you can utilize to create not only captions or plans around what you're trying to do, but you can get a lot of different information for your organizations out of it as well, too. Jasper AI is a content platform that allows you to create social media posts and actually automate them within your organizations. So then you'll be able to take the load off of actually having to say that I need to make this post at 10 o'clock every day, where you're sitting at your computer at 9:55 typing it up. And you can schedule it within the system, let's say on a Monday, to say, hey, every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, this is the content I want shared. And this is what we want to share about it. Canva, for example, Canva has grown their AI toolkit a lot over the last few years. In terms of what you can utilize, from magic animation within presentations to creating AI photos to creating AI captions. So a lot of platforms within Canva are utilizing an AI perspective. Sprout Social, very similar to Jasper AI, again, allows you to create a lot of that content, whether it be captions, posts, things like that. And then Writesonic, same platform, same concept within those platforms as well. So emerging trends. So we talked about it, the video campaign or the video dominance that we're seeing in terms of digital marketing. Short form content is the dominating force in digital spaces today. If TikTok doesn't fit within your organization's social media strategies, most social media platforms have created specialized areas for short form content. And those are a lot of examples that I shared with you all earlier about Instagram and Facebook Reels or YouTube Shorts. And I've used the shorthand here, so IGFB and then YT for YouTube. And et cetera. So a lot of platforms have moved into creating specialized areas. And if you actually go on your Facebook app right now, you can click on a little Slapboard that a lot of filmmakers use. And it's the Reels section. And you can sit there on Facebook and just scroll through Reels for hours and hours and hours, very similar to TikTok. Same thing with YouTube. YouTube, specifically, if you look on the left-hand corner, when you're on your computers looking at YouTube or even from your phone, has a specialized category for Reels or for Shorts, where you can scroll through them and watch them the entire time instead of actually having to type in the search box the video or the content that you're looking for. So again, a lot of platforms are starting to see that short form content is the dominating platform and the dominating force in terms of what content that people are ingesting nowadays. And if it's not something that you're looking to add into your organization, a lot of the posts are going to get inundated to organizations that are adding those trends into their organizations. So what I would love to say to you all is please get ahead of it before you get behind it, because once you're behind it, you get unfortunately inundated in the algorithm. And we talk about that a lot here in terms of the algorithms of all the platforms and what you can do and utilize to ensure your content's top of mind. Same thing with search engine optimization, which I'll talk about a little bit later in some of the tools and tips that we have here for you all today. Personalization. So tailored messaging or content will create and drive donor cultivation and retention. It is not what you say, but how you say it. Creating tailored messaging shows that you are creating unique relationships with supporters, which can yield positive results. Today, we actually took a meeting with an organization. I'll leave them nameless for right now, but their senior vice president shared with us today that they actually send an email every Monday to their audience, we'll say from their perspective, or to the people that their clients that they serve. And it's unique. If they have a conversation with the client the week of, and they're like, hey, I'm going out of town with the family to Disney World, he'll actually send an email Monday morning and say, hey, how was that trip to Disney World? And they'll respond, oh, it was great. It was amazing. We had a great time. We were able to do X, Y, and Z while we were there. But what does it show? It shows that he's taking a personal investment into the client. So it's more than what we are doing. It's more than the transactions that we make within this organization here. I actually care about you as a person. I actually care about what you do with your family and the things like that. And because of that, that yields trust, which yields now a stronger relationship where they want to not only support the organization, but they may, let's say, join the board or become more of a financial supporter than they already were. So if they were giving monthly, now it may turn into weekly. If they were giving annually, just one time a year, it may turn now into quarterly. So now, again, the personalization of what you share, whether it be via email or via any of the platforms that you share information on in terms of like thanking, gratefulness, support, in those ways, you want to make sure that you tailor it to showing that unique relationship that you have with them within your organizations, because then it shows that you're caring about their relationship and not only what they do for your organization, but the person that they are. So some budget-friendly tools that I want to share with you today, and I got about 5 or 6 here listed throughout today's presentation. The first one being Canva. I will say today's presentation was brought to you by Canva, so shout out to Canva. So that's why I had to put them in here. But Canva is an intuitive design platform that helps create professional quality graphics, flyers, presentations, and social media posts. And some key features for nonprofits is Canva is free, the base platform of it. But the great part is the pro version, access to pro version, is actually free through their nonprofit program. So if your social media or your digital marketing or marketing team isn't aware of that, please let them know that your organization, through your nonprofit 501c3 status, is eligible to get Canva Pro for free, which gives you a chance to create branding kits exclusive to the organization within Canva. You get their premium template packages and access to a lot more resources within Canva than you would just from its regular free version. So please be sure, a lot of platforms that you all utilize daily within your organizations have nonprofit either discounts attached to them or free resources that you can utilize for your organizations. So I wanted to take this time to highlight some platforms that are out there that offer not only free resources, but can also bolster if you haven't implemented some of these things within your organizations. The next one I want to share is MailChimp. We use Constant Contact as our email marketing tool. So again, we're not biased to any organization and organizations I show you here today. We're not exclusively using at UPHS in any way, but they just offer some resources that may be available to you as well. So MailChimp, which is now known as Intuit MailChimp, is an email marketing tool that allows you to design, send, and track email campaigns. Some key features that they have is that their free tier is available for up to 500 contacts and 1,000 monthly email sends. And they have built-in templates for newsletters, fundraising appeals, and thank you emails. And then they allow you to also have an analytics dashboard to measure and open and click-through rates. A lot of these resources, Constant Contact also has an analytics dashboard that they allow you to utilize as well. through their platforms. But even if you're utilizing a lot of these platforms right now, let's say you're just paying for the base package that they have, I would say please reach out to them and tell them, hey, I'm a nonprofit, we're a nonprofit organization, because they may have some additional resources that they can offer to your organization at no cost, or discounts that they can offer to your organization for what you're already paying and the resources that you're utilizing. So Google for Nonprofits offers a suite of free tools to help organizations increase visibility and track performance. So the first two topics, or the first 2 points within Google for Nonprofits, are going to really be based around, again, search engine optimization, website traffic, visitor behavior, and turning a lot of that those visitors and converting them into supporters or donors of your organization. So the first one being Google Analytics, which will give you a chance to see what your organization is yielding when it comes to Google searches or website traffic within your organization. So they can see, they'll show you essentially who's Googling your account, what age range, where are they coming from, what pockets or localities are they in? And then showing what they do when they visit your websites or visit your pages. Do they just click and are there for 5 seconds and go to the next thing? Are they clicking through the page to actually show you what's going on or what they're looking for? So then now you can see, do we need to make our information more accessible and more equitable for people to ingest and receive? And then optimizing that information that you receive to convert them to either clients or supporters of the organization. The Google Ad Grants is access up to $10,000 a month and free advertising credit to appear in search results. So this gives you a chance to to optimize your search engines in terms of what they're looking for. So I will use Desiree, since you're here. I'll use Good News Outreach for an example. Let's say that they're looking for food insecurity. Let's say they type in food insecurity Tallahassee into Google. Well, this platform through Google Ads, the granting aspect, they would utilize some of those funds to amplify your organization to the top of those search engine pages. So as we know, when we like to Google something, we look at the first 5 things on the first page as saying, that's the strongest areas of this thing, or that's the things that will give me the most relevant information to what I'm looking for. You want to do the same thing for your organizations. You want to put yourself in the best positions to be on that first page of a Google search or a first page of a Bing search or a Yahoo search. So organizations and individuals can find you faster, right? In terms of what you're sharing and the content that you're sharing when it comes to those things. And then Google Workspace, I want to utilize this Google Workspace opportunity to share this for more grassroots organizations that may not have free access to, let's say, a Gmail account or utilizing Google Workspace in that sense, or Outlook in that sense. Google Workspace for nonprofits is completely free. And you'll be able to use Gmail, Docs, Google Drive, Google Slides. So you'll be able to build out presentations, have an email address for your organization, all those things for free through Google for utilizing the Google Workspace for nonprofits aspect. So just want to make sure that's known for organizations that may be in the building process of things and are not in the stage of actually taking on, paying monthly for Outlook support or paying monthly for Google Workspace for business. In that sense, if you are a nonprofit and have your 501c3 status, there'll be a short application for you to fill out, and then they'll make it completely free for you all to utilize that platform. So I see I have 2 comments here, and I want to answer those really quickly because I know I have about 10 minutes left. And Debbie says, I thought cross-pollinating between platforms was a good thing with just a few minor changes to adapt to the platform. So I say yes and no, and you have to do an analysis of that. So the reason why you don't want to put the same content in every location, and what I mean by same content is same form content, not what you're sharing, in the same locations, is because they won't yield the same success. Like I said, with short form content, going on Instagram or TikTok or Facebook Reels or YouTube Shorts, you may want to create a short clip about the event you're doing, but on LinkedIn, you might want to type a caption that engages people to come out to your event, or you may want to type a caption there as well too. Also, captions on like Instagram and TikTok can't be that long anyway, because they get inundated into the see more, and a lot of people don't click on those. A lot of people are looking at the content of what it is, the picture and or the video that you're sharing. So while you are making minor changes to the content that you're sharing, how it's received is going to be done in a different amount of ways, or is going to be received in a different.
So kind of what I do is I'll take a piece of content, a graphic or something that I
Mhm.
shared like on Facebook, but then I'll turn it into a reel for Instagram or and then create a longer piece of content for LinkedIn and then a shorter piece of content for Twitter. So it's the same content, but it's tweaked different ways to meet that platform.
Absolutely.
Is that what you're talking about doing?
Same, yeah, I was about to say
Okay.
same concept in that
Okay.
sense. And then even
And sometimes even stories, take something you
absolutely.
shared on like you shared it to a Facebook timeline, but no, that needs to get shared to an Instagram story and not,
Exactly.
okay.
And those things, even with Instagram and Facebook stories, the content that you share there is different, from what you may make as a post on those
Right.
platforms. So it's just
Okay.
all about the tweaking in terms of the content you're sharing, in that sense. But the approaches to each of them should be different. And the reason why I say that is just because the audiences are going to be vastly different that you're approaching on those. LinkedIn.
And that's where Canva comes in handy.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And then Desiree, I see you have, how many platforms should you be on? Is it a good idea to be on multiple platforms? It is a great idea to be on multiple platforms, but ensuring, again, with what you do, what the organization does, you have to understand if it's a good platform for you to be on to yield the most success. Each platform is going to give you the opportunity to do it, but if you're not utilizing it to its full fidelity, then you're shooting yourself in the foot more than actually helping yourself. So you don't want to put yourself out here in terms of having 15 different platforms that you're on, but you're only active on 4 of them or 5 of them, because then you're not yielding success on the other ones, which is what happens with a lot of nonprofits. Is we join a lot of platforms, but we're not creating content for all of them actively. So then I may go to your Facebook page and it says your last post is November 2022, but then I go to your Instagram and your last post was yesterday. For me, you don't know what audience you're trying to attract in that sense. So you want to make sure that you're active in a lot of ways. And I'm going to actually go to a couple of content platforms within the presentation shortly of how you can package all of those into one resource and post, basically, as the discussion I was just having with Debbie, create that content for each of those individually so they're all active and robust with up-to-date information of what the organization is doing and how you're doing it. But if I had to answer your question on how many platforms you should be on, for us right now, like sweet spot here for us is about 3 or 4 at UPHS, but again, that's relevant to the work that we do. So I would have to look at your organization, the work that you do, and then look at, okay, what audiences are you trying to hit through that work, and saying, okay, these are your best options for the organization, but you're more than open to taking on any of the other platforms that you're looking at as well too. Danielle, I'm gonna get to your question. I'm just gonna get through the rest of this because we do have Q&A plugged in for the end. So I'm gonna get to your question. I did not forget about it. Oh, went too fast. So Trello and Asana are 2 project management tools. And I like to include tools that you're not only limited in utilizing for just social media, you can utilize this across the organization. And these project management tools are to help you organize tasks, timelines, and the collaboration between your teams utilizing it. So the free tier of each of these include basic boards and task tracking within it. I'm gonna steal this quote from Jamie Van Pelt of the Radley firm. He said it in one of our presentations, and I wholeheartedly agreed with it as soon as he made the statement. Anything that has a free trial to it that you want to try it, because it may be of benefit to your organization. And if you have the wiggle room within your budget to be able to implement it into your organization, then do it. But you have to experience it first to see if it's a good fit for your organization or not. Something like this could be a good fit in one area or multiple areas, right? But you won't know it until you try the free trial of it or utilize the free tier of that certain platform to see if it engages your organization in the best possible way. So I'm huge on that. If you want to test something out or you want to try a platform or a resource that's available out there to you, but it has like a 14-day free trial or a 1-month free trial, go ahead and sign up for it. The worst that can happen is you don't like it and you cancel the free trial and you move on to the next tool. So it's nothing against utilizing some of those free trials within a lot of the platforms that are offered across platforms for you all. And then these are my video editing tools that I wanted to share with you all today, and I'm going order of each of them. So CapCut, which is huge on TikTok, but you can utilize it for any platform. It's a free video editor, perfect for those short form content ideas that you're trying to create. So for TikTok, Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, and a lot of them already have pre-designed templates and effects. So what it can do also through AI is if you drop clips of videos into the presentation through artificial intelligence, it'll be able to cut the video up for you and shoot out something that may fit what you're looking for if you tell it exactly what you're looking for in terms of the content. And CapCut has that feature as well, already kind of internalized into its app. iMovie is for MacBook, which I have a MacBook and I utilize for editing a lot of long form content or longer videos. Clipchamp is for Windows computers or Microsoft based computers, or utilizing Microsoft Windows tech or software in that sense. And it's easy to use. You don't have to be within the industry to understand how to use and cut videos. And once you actually get a hang of it, it becomes very easy and very quick for you to cut videos up that you may have. So if it's a live that you do on Facebook, or if it's a Zoom session that you record like we do here, and then post later on for you to watch on YouTube, these are wonderful platforms that you can use to cut some of those hour-long content presentations now, and put like a nice opening, a nice closing, opening and closing window within each of them, the contents within it, and then you can download it down and create it as a video to post on your YouTube channel or onto your Facebook platform, Instagram platforms, or onto your website, direct to website even as well too. And again, those key features are drag and drop interfaces. So once you drop the video in, there's a lot that you can do in terms of cutting it up or being able to throw edits in terms of transitions or different effects that you will want to put in each of them. And then the exporting options are optimized for social media platforms exclusively. And I want to specify that specifically to CapCut. With iMovie, you can change iMovie and Clipchamp. You can change it to fit what you want. So if you want to download a video in 1080p or 4K, so it looks the clearest, best sound, best crisp video possible, you can. I will tell you those videos take a lot of memory up off of your computer, so be prepared for it. But if you want to drill it down so it doesn't take up too much space and it's easy to send via email, because as you know with emails, sometimes if the video is too big or the content that you're trying to share is too big, it'll make it a Google Drive link, or you'll have to add it to OneDrive before you share it with someone. So if you want to be able to just send it straight to them directly where they can download it down to their computer and watch it very quickly, you'll be able to optimize it to whatever platform that you're looking to do it. And then measuring success. So we're gonna go ahead and close out. And this is my last content slide here, is how do we measure success of what we do on our platforms? And these are three main areas: is website traffic, utilizing Google Analytics or any analytics. A lot of website platforms actually build in analytics to their platform. So if you use Squarespace, WordPress, Wix, GoDaddy, any of those platforms to create your own websites, they actually have it ingrained into your website analytics of like who visits, how long they're on the website, what areas of the country are they visiting your website from. So then you'll be able to pull that content down and say, hey, this is what's going on from our website perspective. And these are the areas that we're doing amazing in. And then these are the areas that we need to do better in, or our weakness for our digital marketing plans. Emailing metrics. So if you all send out newsletters or e-alerts, e-news alerts, any of those things in that manner, you want to focus on open rates and click-through rates, right? And how do we change those or convert those? So open rate is just, does the person click open the email? The great part about Constant Contact, I'll rave about it just here now shortly, is every newsletter that we send out to you all, I can see if you're clicking a link, I can see if you actually clicked the email open, which links you clicked in it. So what were the things that were most important to your eyes as you scroll through our newsletter? Oh, you like to click on board options more, or you like to click on our content, like our YouTube channel and our Facebook pages more, or you like to find out more information about grant dollars or dollars that are available within our community. So then it helps us tailor, okay, what information is most relevant in our newsletters that we need to send out every month. So then we give you the best newsletter, because I like to say we have the best newsletter in the world. We'll send you the best newsletter possible that engages you in the best way possible. And then social media engagement. What are we looking at from an analytics perspective there? I know a lot of you from a meta perspective have probably gotten into meta business analytics, where it shows you all the wonderful things of how people look at your content, like shares, and the growth that you see within your organization. YouTube has something very similar as well. So all of these platforms give you, again, a chance from an analytics standpoint to see what is yielding the best success. Is it short form content in those shorter videos? Is it long form content in like a 3-minute video? Is it more caption stuff where it's just a picture of us at a conference and we're saying, hey, we're having the best time at the 21st annual da, 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 da. Which content is yielding the best return on success for us, to putting our efforts into more and more often to ensure that we're growing our digital footprint as much as possible. All right, so I know I'm right at time, somewhere in there. So I'm gonna answer these last couple of questions that we have here, and then any questions that you may all have that you think of as I'm answering these questions, please feel free to come off mute or share them in the chat as I'm answering. So Danielle says, how do we stop from popping up in search results when people type something in? For example, Oasis pops up as one of the first results when searching for women's shelter in Tallahassee. We aren't a shelter, and people often come by thinking that we are. So the first thing that I would advise is a lot of platforms that you utilize, like, I don't know what your website is built through, but you can actually type in the keywords that you want to come up for your organization. So one of the things that I would advise you to do is, either if you're based in WordPress or Squarespace, whichever ones, I would want to go into your analytics aspect of it. And there should be a section within each of them to share like search engine optimization. And you'll actually be able to type in keywords that you want to align to your organization's website or content as it comes up. So if you want to dissuade from it being a women's shelter, and let's say you want it to say more so girls initiatives or women initiatives or summer camps for young girls or things like that, you'll be able to actually program that in and be able to share that content through that space to be able to yield more results towards what you want your organization to be recognized as and not what the community has already deemed your organization as. We see that happen a lot with a lot of our organizations. Google Analytics and Google Workspace is a huge platform that I would say you can also utilize to change that for your organization as well too, because you'll be able to change the search engine optimization keywords to what you want your organization to be recognized as when people search for it. Yes, sir, Derek.
How you doing, Justin? I had a question. I consider myself social media savvy. What is your recommendation as far as like using ads, like Facebook ads, IG ads, etc.? I've used ads on like Etsy, but I've never delved into ads on either platform. What are your recommendations?
So, me personally, I am a huge supporter of organic growth solely. And the reason why I say that is because it isn't something that is fun driven. And a lot of times when you utilize those ad driven platforms, is what Facebook does is it tries to shoot it to the top of its algorithm while balancing what other people have already done or what are already paying for within those ad spaces. So sometimes you may spend, let's say, $25 for Facebook ads, and it'll tell you it'll get up to 9,000 people that will see your content. Well, let's say a month goes by and you only get 6. You might feel pretty disappointed that you spent that $25 for that and it didn't yield the highest possible expectation of what you need to do. So the biggest thing that I would do within that space is we need to figure out what best makes you pop to the top of the algorithm. What key terms, what key searches in terms of Facebook will throw your post into more people's algorithm to the point where now they see it every day or they're seeing the content every day. I would say from a paid ads perspective, I have utilized it solely for like our big events. So a gala or our conference or a fundraising drive, you may want to throw some dollars behind that just because it yields more eyes. But for your day-to-day content and what you do in terms of the organization from a daily perspective, I would say don't utilize it for that. I would say if it's towards something of greater growth, that's where I would put the funds behind it. But if it's just you sharing that, hey, I went to a conference, like my organization went to a conference today, don't spend that ad money for that.
Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
All right, so we are going to take one more question because we want to be respectful of time. But Justin, if you will drop your email in the chat, we are always here. Many of you all we work with on a consistent basis. So if you have some follow-ups, just reach out to Jay and y'all can hop on a Zoom.
Well, thank you all for coming. I had a
Jeff,
really fun time. Did I hear somebody in the background? I'm
hey
sorry.
Justin,
Yeah.
hey Justin,
Yes, sir.
sir, check this out. I heard what you just said about paying, right?
Yes, sir.
So Facebook had been sending me so many different messages telling me I need to prioritize and pay for this and do this. And I sent them an email saying I wasn't buying no ads or I wasn't there to, you know, to get monetized for my page or whatever. And from that point on, it's been downhill.
So what I would fear may happen, and I'm gonna end the presentation so we can end the recording, and I'm gonna answer what I think may have happened. So first off, thank y'all for coming. We appreciate you all's time. If you have any questions for us, or for me, please feel free to utilize my email address, and shoot me anything that you may have. If you're looking to sculpting potentially a digital marketing content calendar or a plan around your organization and what you're trying to yield positive results in, feel free to reach out to me so we can sit down and have a meeting and discuss that information further. So thank you all for attending. Please come out on Thursday for Managing with the Heart, and that'll be presented by our Director of Strategic Initiatives, LaShawn Gordon. So you supported one UPHS team member today. Come on back 2 days from now and support the next one, because we're doing this information, we're providing this information to you all to benefit your organizations further. So we appreciate you all being here, and we will see you on Thursday.